Here we go, live on the knife round, ladies and gents. Finally underway. CT, of course, is the favourable side onto cash. And this knife is still pretty important because, you know, if CPLAY or Publiclir can get themselves on the CT side, they're going to be in good shape to start to pick up a lot of rounds here, you'd have to feel. It seems that both teams aren't too happy about jumping in just yet. Hatchet needs to be careful, he's being forced down, and it's going to be the first kills going the way of CPLAY. Take the advantage here. But Publiclir do come back. It's down to a 1-on-1 actually, and this should favour Zanzir considering that he has, I was going to say he's got 30 more HP, and he does take that down for his team. So I'm expecting to see the switch come in, and CPLAY to be on the CT side. It's a bit confusing why Publiclir don't have their name show up at the top there. Alrighty, so we are live here. First round. Publiclir on T's, going to be pushing in. Looking like 3 players stacked on towards B from them. The bomb, though, is going towards A. And here we go with the push. 2 entries from Quicks. This is something he did all the time yesterday, was getting those all-important entry frags. And there's or to get the 3rd as well on the side of Publiclir. So it's looking good for them. 4-on-2 in their favour. Bomb will be getting planted as well. Percy coming from CT side. And Holst also filling in the gaps there from CT. It's going to be very difficult because it's a very one-dimensional retake from CPLAY. And they should be walking into crosshairs any second now. Dominate up on the box. He's going to have a great position to take down Holst. And a clear-cut, comfortable round in the end for Publiclir, who pick up the first pistol. And will put themselves in good shape. The question now, does CPLAY want to force buy? They forced playing a bunch yesterday. It's fairly standard on CT side to go for the force buy with 5-7. Sometimes you'll see a scout as well on cash because it is a long-range map in a lot of situations. But playing with the pistols, probably going to stack in quite deep here. You can see it right now. CPLAY, I thought they may stack in deep, but you see Muff pushing up pretty aggressively. He's looking for some early headshots up on the box. It's smoked out at the moment, so the T's can't push through just yet. They can't be sure it's safe. And Muff, now that that smoke is starting to disintegrate, is back on away. But it's Zanzir who gets the opening pick with the 1 deke. And already Publiclir on the back foot a tiny bit, not too sure what to do here. That sent a shock to their system. They still have the weapon advantage, but the fact they're a player down and 3 CTs stacked onto B site is going to cause them all sorts of trouble. There's Holst as well in mid. So 2 great opening picks for CPLAY, but now the cavalry's charging in. With the Mac 10 kill, Muff gets 1 back, and now it's all on Dominate in a 1 versus 4 that he simply was not expecting to walk into. Flashbang through, the pop flash not good enough, but he does get himself that bomb. Pulling back with 30 seconds. He may have half a mind just to save this AK-47. But no, he's going straight for the rotate. And in fairness, this is the right call. Most of the CTs are still lurking around B. No one, apart from Holtz, has reacted to this. And the bomb plant would be pretty huge for them. Flashbang through, and he will be saving the AK after all. Just trying to bait that one across, and the AK is much more useful to Publiclir than a potential bomb plant, in fairness. Because there's no guarantees that if he gets picked off, it's an AK-47 to CPLAY, and their woes will just continue. Alrighty, so with the AK-47, they're going to go for another force buy here, Publiclir, which is another reason they wanted to save that weapon. It puts their potential arsenal that much stronger. And you can see the boost coming up as well from Publiclir, who are thinking about trying to get an early pick. There is a smoke down, Zanzir's behind the smoke, flashbang through mid. And Zanzir is in a great position with that Mac 10 to do serious damage. There we go with the first frag onto Quicks. He was just kind of waltzing out, didn't really check his corners. Zanzir does get traded out, did significant damage to Zitta though. Publiclir picked cash, guys, for those of you that are asking. Overpass is the next map, which of course was CPLAY's choice of map. Hopefully that helps some of you out. Regardless though, in the 3rd round here, with just shy of a minute remaining, it's all even in terms of manpower, which will certainly be beneficial for the terrorists, but they've just lost a player. There's one back, though, from Dominate. He does pick off Percy, who's just peeking up from the toxic barrels on A. Zita now going towards Connector. He could find himself a frag onto Muff. He does indeed do just that, but he's down to 2 HP. And again, the trade-offs continue. And now, it's definitely the CTs who are looking in charge as the P90 rings out from truck, courtesy of Berry. The bomb's been dropped in a really horrible place for Zita, especially considering he's got no utility and only 2 HP to his name. So CPLAY will be very comfortable from this position. I can't see them losing it from here. I mean, I'm surprised it has survived for this long, to be fair. I thought he'd definitely get fragged and give that AK across. You can now see CPLAY trying to chase him down for that weapon. And it will be 2-1 for CPLAY. So the Danes starting off well here. The Swedes, they've had some moments, but they have lost out a couple rounds that they would have been desperate to pick up for themselves. However, that AK-47 is potentially going to bait and dangle that carrot in front of Publiclir for another force buy, but they don't go for it. They just upgrade some P250s instead. They're going to be using that AK-47 on Zita to push up through A, looking for a boost, but they're going to find themselves Percy's grenade. Quicks is already down to 29 HP, and Quicks could very well fall down if he keeps pushing mid there. Meanwhile, Zita just got tagged so hard. I wouldn't be too surprised if he threw his AK-47 to one of his teammates. There we go, to Dominate. There's no point potentially losing that weapon and it dropping down. And that is one of their main playmaking capabilities here in the 4th round, is that AK-47 to get some headshots and get some frags. Dominate looking for it, saw a player on quad. It was Holst, who only loses 7 HP in the process. That grenade absolutely chunks the Swedes. And now CPLAY are moving into position. Zanzia gets 2, Holst as well from sight. Is anyone going to guess the Oars up on the boost? I think Percy can sniff this one out, and there we go. So almost a flawless round for CPLAY, only losing 12 HP. Sorry guys, just keeping myself hydrated to make sure I don't lose my voice tonight. So there may be some pauses now and again as I'm solo casting. I'll always be keeping an eye on chat as well and the slow eco rounds to interact with you guys as much as possible. So Publiclir are going to go for a force buy. They did eco the last one. That's going to put Zita onto a Tech 9, but this is still a pretty solid buy up from the terrorists. They've traded out here for a 2-on-2, but suddenly the CT starting to move ahead once again. 1 minute and 20 to play with though for Publiclir, and they have this bomb plant on B. And it wasn't a rush plant either because both the terrorists are there, so it's a pretty safe plant for now. However, there is a 3-on-2 stack coming up against them. The retake in effect is going to be the one from CT in the form of Holst, other 2 through main. But look at this, the terrorists are trading this one out perfectly. It's now Percy. The way he played yesterday, you can definitely fancy him to potentially get this one for his team, especially as Quicks is on 35 HP. He throws out the Molotov. However, Quicks' Molotov is going to keep him off that site that little bit longer, and it's placed in a position where he's going to be right out in the open. Percy has to go for the full defuse. Here comes Quicks, and although Percy was spinning around like a madman, it didn't save his life. And Publiclir do get their second round. Beautiful 3v2 hold from the Swedes. So that was a pretty important round for Publiclir as well, because it's a force buy. They're probably back into another force buy / eco now. They'd be looking at potentially a 5-1 deficit. Instead, they're sitting pretty at 3-2. Although CPLAY do have themselves lots of assault rifles plus an AWP on their side. Zanzit with the AWP is going to be doing what he can. Currently finds himself on mid with that weapon, which he saw a whole bunch. Yesterday he also ran it on B. Had a few peeks across B into main. So he's the kind of player that a lot of AWPers are very stationary now. You see them just run like sort of 1 or 2 positions, but Zanzia to me seems like a very adaptable AWPer, which is a great trait to have on that weapon. It's one of the reasons why Cobblestone I feel suits him so well. But so far, as I've been waffling on, 50 seconds to go, no one's fallen. That could change in the next couple of seconds as Hatchet does get himself a frag onto Berry, who just went peeking. And I called Zanzia before, but he wasn't there to save his teammate. He's shooting a crossing, hits the second onto Hatchet. Oh my goodness, that was just pure luck, I've got to say. I mean, fair enough, Zanzia was aiming in the right place, but there is no way he knew at that specific moment that Hatchet would cross. So unfortunate from Publiclir, who line up for Percy, and he gets a quick fire double onto Squeaky and Sight. More importantly, the bomb has been dropped, and now the rest of the terrorists are falling and following suit. There is Zanzir from the truck. And CPLAY with 2 huge plays get themselves to 4-2 in the lead. And Publiclir now are an eco. So, full eco for Publiclir with the bomb moving towards A. And, geez, I'm still a bit shocked at that. I mean, it has to be said that a lot of that was down to luck from CPLAY. First, Zanzir gets the shot through smoke, and then Percy happens to spray as 2 players line up. And still, you've got to take everything that you get, and that's what CPLAY have done. It's an eco, which I'm not really talking about it too much. Quicks is the last player. They do get 1 kill in return, but the bomb, as you can see, just outside of main A. And all the CTs know it. And there we go. Zanzir is the player to put the final nail in the coffin for round number 7. And now we go through to 8 with Publiclir on the potential to buy back up again. So Tech9 force buy from Publiclir, and again it seems to be an A play. They've been playing a lot of A so far, hasn't really been paying off for them, so I'd almost like them to try and switch things up here. I can understand with the Tech9 though that they may be looking at this as somewhat of a throwaway round. The round loss bonus will be coming in shortly, so they're able to buy up next with AK-47s. But here we go, set play lands, and the terrorists rushing out with Tech9. So far so good for them, but they're starting to lose players, they're starting to hemorrhage players. Percy with 2, make that a 3rd as well, one of which was a Molotov. And now Quicks again is the last man standing, and again he can't do anything in this 1v4 scenario. Publiclir will be able to buy. Are they going to go for an AWP? They could potentially afford a glass cannon AWP, but no, they're going to stick with AKs. So let's see, where is Zanzir going with the AWP? He's going to be heading towards A this time, not mid. So mixing it up, and you can see there, because he's gone to main, he's allowed the CTs to stack mid so hard. Zanzir now peeking, has just spotted a shoulder. Is he going to convert that into a frag? Absolutely not. He gets shut down from Dominate. He'll be very disappointed with that. He had the drop on Dominate, but just moved slightly there and then switched to a Tech9. Now the terrorists have traded themselves out 2 frags. Holst from the corner gets 1. I was going to say he made a bit of dog's dinner out of that, but to be fair, there was not much chance of him doing much more from that because there was a player up on boost that just shut him down instantly. Percy, 1 versus 4. What can he do? Well, there's the answer. First frag in his hands with the Tech9. Gives him a chance to reload the AK. Bomb's been planted onto B. He spots out AWP, but doesn't get the shot on him. There is Hatchet, but again, the strength in numbers, and Publiclir get their 3rd round on the board. So let's look at the scoreboard here. Percy 2 and 4, Zanzir 9 and 5 for CPLAY. On Publiclir, everyone pretty even. 3 players on 5, 2 on 4, and Zanzir once again opens his account with the AWP, so he's on 10 for 5. Looking good for CPLAY in this round. Publiclir, just after resetting that round loss bonus, could find themselves in eco territory because they're bare bones on the terms of weaponry here. On terms of economy as well, just a few players on 1,000 and that's about it. Or does get the shot through the smoke in the head of Muff as he tries to cross to Checker and keep his options open. Very one-dimensional terrorist side so far for Publiclir, but I feel like, and you do see this a lot in, you know, not necessarily the top tier of teams, that they rely a lot on aim, duel and aim prowess, and that definitely seems to be the case for Publiclir, as they just flash in and then try and get kills purely by being better when it comes to those fast reaction plays. But there's Zanzir once again with the AWP, this time on B. That is going to leave A a bit vulnerable. Percy's coming up from highway and they line up again, and this time it's Holst who pulls the trigger and gets the 2 frags. Zanzir with a flick shot onto Zitter. And again, CPLAY. I'm getting deja vu. 7-3 ahead. I don't understand. Twice already on CT side, we've had Percy get a double kill, like shooting through, spraying down, and now Holst. They're just positioning themselves so well here from CTs. Holst with the opening pick on to Zitter. And it is, once again, an eco. As I said, the problem is that when you reset the round loss bonus and you start losing rounds instantly afterwards, it's just sad times for your economy. Publicly want to be getting themselves at least 5 rounds here, I've got to say, on T side. Anything less is probably not good enough. And this is their choice of map as well. And they will be moving into Overpass, which is a map that CPLAY are strong on. And Zanzibar again gets the frag. There's not too much the Publicly can do there because they had a smoke, but it just blocked off their entrance. And again, they only get the one player, but that AWP's been picked up for CPLAY. And what I'd like to see here from Publicler is if they don't have a huge amount of strats at their disposal on cash, to just play more aggressive. Try and do time pushes. Try to just catch CPLAY off guard, because right now it's a bit predictable and it's not fast enough to pose any huge problems for CPLAY. So into the 12th round we go, and Publicler have been looking lacking, uninspired thus far, but it's very possible they can turn this one round. We say it all the time on T-side, especially on cash, you just get a couple rounds in a row, suddenly everything looks a lot more rosy. The issue is, they're running out of time, and again it's Zanzibar, and he's got himself a second frag as well. This guy has just been a level above these last few days. A third frag, looking for a fourth, but Holst is there to get his second. And CPLAY pick up their 9th, and that was a full committed buy from Publicler. Their economy is not going to be great. Let's have a look how much they've got to work with here. I'm guessing around $3,000 to $4,000. Yeah, everyone on just above 3 to 3.5k. So it is the kind of round where you could force buy, but I do like this from them. They're just going for Tech 9s, couple of Kevlars thrown in the mix. They know they can get AK-47s next round. So it gives them a glimmer of hope in this round, but more importantly, it sets up the latter couple rounds that much more. And it looks like they are going to be going for rush, which I called, but the problem is they've got no pop flashes, no smokes, nothing. And they're getting caught with their pants down. You can see here that CPLAY were expecting this. It has gone down to a 2-on-2 though, so it's one of the best chances that Publicler have had in a while, and it was an eco round. So all things considered, this isn't too bad for the Swedes, but they need to convert this round so bad. It's a 1-on-1, or up against Holst. Holst got himself 3 kills thus far, but Holst is in a better position. Because the bomb has been dropped, and Orr has to rotate to get it. And there we go, Holst holds firm. And gets the double digits for CPLAY. Publicler may be thinking about getting an AWP. They haven't ran with an AWP a single round so far, and I think it may help them, but no, not wanting to go up against Zanzi's AWPing, understandable. Who gets a very good spawn into connector, by the way, so he's going to be sat there for a little while. Moving into Squeaky ever so slowly is Dominate. Bomb is still dropped for Publicler, so they're not going to be looking for rush anytime soon. Hatchet around B, trying to lurk, trying to beat that interference man, keep the CTs guessing, keep them off guard. And there hasn't been a player DC from CPLAY, so this is a good opportunity for Publicler to try and pounce on this. And it was Zanzibar who ended up timing out, so Percy's going to pick up the AWP. Here we go, Zanzibar has just reconnected. 50 seconds to go. It doesn't look like Publicler are going to jump on top of that opportunity just yet. They're playing the slow, steady, patient game. Hatchet does get the entry onto Checker. That's going to keep the CTs guessing. Are they going to rotate one of those CT players? They do! They move Muff away. They second guess themselves as well, but you can see the terrorists are just making the most of this weakness on the side of CPLAY, and they don't lose a single player as well. That's going to be very frustrating for Zanzibar and the rest of CPLAY. who suddenly lost a player right from the beginning. It will be the final round of the half, and CPLAY will be able to get themselves a bunch of weapons. The issue now is that because Zanzir DC'd, I think his economy gets really hurt by that. So it's a deagle and a flashbang. So let's hope whatever that issue was, it ceases to be the case. And we can have a 5-on-5 here without any more hiccups or any other issues. Because that could start to put players on tilt. Some people are very susceptible to letting those kind of scenarios get the better of them. But you can see it's a 1-for-1 trade thus far. Hatchet probably should have done better. Muff wasn't really tagged there, just down at 74. Berry gets a frag. And again, the CTs are looking good. Dominate gets the entry onto Percy, who just went walkies. They heard Squeaky open. I'm very surprised that he'd walk out there. He must have known there was a high chance that someone would be peeking him out, and that's exactly what happened. But Quicks in a 1v3 with the AWP, moving through garage towards main. Gets a nice no-scope onto Zanzir, but he heard that from a mile away. I'd be surprised if he missed it. Now going to be pushing on to A. It is going to be a 1v2. And the CTs want to bunch together. Don't make this a 1v1v1 kind of scenario. Use the strength in numbers approach. They're not going to do that, so it does end up being two separate 1v1s, which is a cardinal sin for CPLAY. And now the bomb will be planted from Quicks, who's in a great position with the AWP, with so many grenades to play with as well. You'd fancy him to pick up this round, but he misses the shot. Can he land it on the second time of asking? He lost lots of damage and he misses the second shot as well. Oh, the double whiff is real. And now CPLAY will be picking up the 11-4 half. And I said before that 10-5 would have been ideal for Publiclir in the position they found themselves in. That's going to hurt. They should have had the 10-5. Instead, CPLAY moved to T-side with 11. Alrighty, so second half underway. Pistol round. CPLAY won the first one. Can they connect the dots and win the second? It's looking likely. Two early entries from Zanzir and Holst are going to set them up nicely. The potential bomb plant is coming in as well. See lots of action from Percy. He's probably going to be a bit disappointed that he didn't get more shots, but there's Zanzir with the one tap onto Zita. 2 versus 5. This is extremely unlikely, and CPLAY do win the second pistol round and take themselves 12-4 ahead. So this could start to get out of control for Publiclir, and again, not to repeat myself, but this is their choice of map. This is a map they'd have been fancying themselves on to pick up with ease, and instead, CPLAY are just smashing it. It's true, universal loser. It's definitely true. 4 is better than nothing, but I think Publiclir would have been desperate to get more than 4 rounds there, especially considering a couple scenarios like that last round should have been theirs. Should really, really have been theirs, and I feel Publiclir on a different day would have grasped at them with both hands, but instead they are going to be going for the force buy with CZ. This is an interesting strat. CZ's over the 5-7. A lot of players prefer that 5-7. Mac 10 on Berry, and they're going to be pushing into A. This could work into the CT favour, because look at Quicks' position. He's seen Muff, but he's waiting for the rest of the team to show up. He trades one out, but that's all it's going to be. It's still on a 3-on-2. That grenade is going to land right by the feet of Zita, but he did just about get a frag before falling. It's now a 1-on-2, and both players pretty tagged. Mac 10 in the hands of 4. This is definitely clutchable from him. But it's not going to happen. Zanzir from NBK, just too good with the AK-47. 13-4 is your scoreline. And now Publiclir, after that force buy, may feel pressured to go ahead and try again here. But I'd half like them to just save and then play from 14-4 behind, so they can get themselves some FAMASs and give themselves a much better opportunity to bounce back. So, Dominate has been dropped there early on in the round. Again, it's an eco, not expecting too much to happen. What do you guys reckon? Could the comeback be real? Could Publiclir bring this map back? We've seen crazy things happen. I'm personally not a believer just yet. The next test for them is 14-4 when they start to force buy and they go for the full buy here. That's when Publiclir have to start mounting this comeback. Any weapons they can take away from the Danes would be fantastic right now. And they are taking away a couple, and with Berry and Holst very low, this is possibly going to be Publiclir picking up this round now, out of nowhere. They have just snuck into this one, out of seemingly thin air. Or's got 100% of his hit points, plus an AK-47, Hatchet has an AK-47, and Berry and Holst between them only have 23 HP. So, it goes from me thinking, okay, 14-4, that's when you set... Suddenly, oh, hold on to that thought, because Berry snuck his way around the back. Flanking to perfection, but it's just a Mac 10, so he does minimal damage. If that's an assault rifle, he picks up both those frags, almost guaranteed. But still, the time is ticking against the CTs. That bomb has been planted, Molotov stopped them in their tracks for a few more seconds, and the CTs deciding to back away and save the weapons. I mean, I guess I can understand it, but surely Publiclir know that Holst and Berry are fairly low. At 13-4, soon to be 14-4 behind, I'd almost like them to try and just force it in and, you know, gamble, because the chances of them pulling back 10 rounds in a row just to be even is pretty low, I'd say. I guess that shows their confidence in their CT side. Are we going to see another 16-6 scoreline for CPLAY? It could definitely happen. Or's been tagged as well, so the start has not been fantastic. He's down to 1 HP and a dream. Every single hit point counts, and he is still somehow alive and kicking, but for how long is the question? Minute and 20. Bomb has not been committed to either side just yet, still holding back the T's. If they can get a pick, you better believe they're going to convert that into a push, and it's Or, the guy who had 1 HP, who gets headshotted down by Muff. We've seen a second player, and he connects that one as well onto Quicks. Sensational entry fragging from him. And with 2 players weakened on A, the CTs are trying to occupy B that bit more. You see that Hatchet is moving up from high weight, but it's Zitu's doing the work on catwalk, drops down. Meanwhile, the terrorists haven't really done a great deal in this round. They get the entries, finally they're going to start to push in, but there is Zitu standing tall. He gets Berry down to 1 HP, but once again it's the terrorists who are coming good, and they pick up the last frag. And did someone just kill themselves? Hold on a second, I'm pretty sure I saw someone kill themselves there at the end, unless I'm seeing things. But regardless, 15-4 is the scoreline. I'm watching this back on the stream right now. Yeah, I think it was Holst who killed himself. I'm not sure how that happened, if it was a grenade or what. But rip, 15-4. Force buying from Publiclir, a Scout, a CZ, a 5.7, a couple of M4s as well. And they are going to line up the terrorists. Nice work from Hatchet. Ran out of bullets. He was shaking towards the end. There's Zitu with the CZ. He gets traded out as well. And again, the terrorists are going to be happy with this, because even if Publiclir win this round, losing 3 weapons is still devastating for them. When you're 11 rounds behind, every single weapon counts, because your economy will gently dwindle over time. It's fairly cheap weapons across the board. It's a bargain bucket of weaponry. And they do have the player advantage here in Vault. Or, I should say, is going to spot out Muff, but doesn't get the kill. Drops down and puts himself in harm's way. Muff now pushing in. Needs to be careful because Quicks is there lurking around vents. 50 seconds to play with. And Or does get the kill. They pick up the AK-47. That is the first in what the Swedes are hoping is many consecutive rounds. 10 in a row just to take us to overtime. Here's the state of play, is the scenario right here. A Scout again on Quicks. A couple of AK-47s and a couple of M4s for the rest of the team. Smoke lands onto Connector. Here's the retaliation frag, grenade and a flashbang. Molotov going to be landing onto Boost, and Or's in a great position to strike here. 3 players lining up. If he just plays his cards right, he's going to have a hatful of frags. He gets 2 and is now being chased down by Percy, who finally gets that kill back for himself. And again, as I mentioned, Publiclir, they need to win this round without losing another weapon, otherwise things are going to start to go pear-shaped for them. There we go. Hatchet gets the kill. And they do only lose 2 weapons. You can see there their economy is not great, but they can drop for the other 2 players. They should be good to go. But they've got to keep this going forward. No more mistakes, no more slip-ups on Publiclir. It has to be flawless from this point on. So here come CPLAY. They're on eco. They're probably fancying just a throwaway round. There's no real pressure on their shoulders. And they are just running into the frying pan, quite literally, with that Molotov thrown down just below their feet. Quicks gets the 1 frag. Muff does return, but again, it's just line them up, knock them down. Publiclir throw away that round. As ever, guys, in these kind of comeback scenarios, I'll begin to believe around 10 or 11 rounds for Publiclir. That's when I'm going to start to think this could be in the bag for them. They could potentially take us to overtime. Up until that point, CPLAY, they've got such a huge buffer of rounds that, to be honest, they're not going to be too bothered about this. They're not going to be dismayed about losing a few rounds in a row. It's to be expected on the T side. Publiclir are just going to be trying to play this strat over and over again, and Orr's been here a couple of times, and eventually that is going to get predictable. He gets traded out by Zanzir, but it is a 2-for-1 still in the Swedes' favour. Dane's now trying to bounce back into position. You can see Zitta behind highway box is going to throw that Molotov down into mid. Was somewhat telegraphed, and Berry can easily dodge out. Loses minimal damage, I think only 8 in total. Cash was Publiclir's choice of map, for those of you asking me in the chat. Overpass his next map. 2-on-2. Oh, Percy does get that kill onto Dominate. He's going to be very disappointed with that outcome. Look where the bombs drop though, in mid. Very easy for Hatchet to go ahead and cover. Percy and Berry are both low. Both Publiclir players are on 100% of their hit points. This should be good. They're going to go for the boost. Oh my goodness, the CT is going to guess this. Hatchet is in a really good position. It's going to come down to this next trade, I've got a feel, and it goes in the favour of Publiclir. 8 rounds now, but they lost 3 weapons. So having to rebuy again. A couple players are very healthy on economy. 6.7k for Hatchet, but again, they've got to keep this going forward. A somewhat pistol upgrade slash force buy in from CPLAY. They've got a couple of Kevlars on the board, a smoke and a couple flashes, which suggests this is going to be a B push. Typically, a team will take 2 or 3 smokes if it's going to be a set play onto A, but look at this from Dominate. From Checkered is just putting that M4 to use. Meanwhile, the crossfire is going to be coming in from the rest of his team, but Muff just walks out with a deagle, gets 2 frags of his own, making this as economically damaging as possible. Publiclir do get the frags and the round, but still find themselves 15-9 behind. Here we go. If they can win this next round and the one after, and then break the next couple of assault rifle slash AWP buys, then I'll begin to believe that Publiclir can take this into overtime. I'm still skeptical. Boost up from the terrorists, pardon me, who do have an AWP. Holster's been tagged in main. I think that was a derp grenade. Yes, it was a derp grenade on main. It slightly bounces back from Quicks. They saw the squeaky door open. Smoke comes through to cover that one off, and the CTs are trading out well once again. There is a quick fire shot from Zanzir though. It's getting tense now from CPLAY. It's getting very tense. They are losing players, and more importantly, there's me talking about Publiclir getting near enough flawless rounds. They've been doing just that. They're going to keep more than likely 4 weapons going forward here. The economic problems that I was talking about before are ceasing to be an issue at this point. So CPLAY, although they still have a huge buffer, although they still find themselves 5 rounds ahead when this... Well, I'm saying when this goes to Publiclir, of course, Percy could pull off a sick clutch, but it's unlikely with 30 seconds. But let's just see. Let's see if he can do this one for his team. Nice frag in for Percy onto Hatchet. Now that's going to open that site up nicely. Wants to make sure no one's in close proximity before he goes for this plant. Both players are going to be coming through main. Here comes a Molotov. Doesn't connect. And now Percy's in a position where he could potentially clutch this one. He gets the next kill. It's on a 1v1 and he picks that up with a headshot as well. And Percy gets a ridiculous clutch to seal the map just when I was starting to believe in Publiclir. Oh my goodness. 16-9, and CPLAY move on to their choice of map. One map to the good. So we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, guys, and rejoin us will be live for Overpass. And let's see if CPLAY can keep that form going forward or if Publiclir can dethrone them. Stay tuned, we'll be back in just a few moments.